Rogers TV Durham would like to acknowledge that we are on the treaty and traditional territory of the Mississaugas of Scugog Island First Nation of the Mississauga Nation. May we respectfully honor the knowledge and understanding of the Indigenous stewards of these ancestral lands and ensure that the voices of the First Peoples are represented in our collections, programs, and services.
This program is brought to you by Ignite TV. Now you're in command. Visit Rogers.com for more details.
The opinions expressed in the following programs are those of the participants and do not necessarily reflect those of Rogers Cable or Rogers TV.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to another edition of Talk Politics. This week, we are moving up to Uxbridge in conversation with Uxbridge Mayor Dave Barton. Great to see you again.
It's always great to be back. Thanks for having me on again, Deborah.
Lots of stuff going on in Uxbridge. I need to ask you for an update on the hospital and where we are with the hospital and the expansion and everything going on there.
So this is my biggest project, the most important one for our community. If you knock on doors, it's what you hear about constantly is what's going on with the hospital. We want to make sure it's here to stay. Everything is on track. It's moving at a lightning speed, which is great. And we hope to have ground broken in this fall for early works. And then we're working hard to make sure that we're working on the building a year from then. So that's where we're at. Our MPP, Peter Bethenfeldt, is phenomenal. He continues to push this through the province, and it's moving faster than our teams at Oak Valley Health have ever seen a project like this move. So Peter's doing a fabulous job for us.
And when you're knocking on doors, of course, what you call lightning speed, what they call lightning speed are two different things. It's important to understand that a year from now is lightning speed.
Oh yeah, and that is true. These types of projects, there's a lot of work to do because you have to make sure that the money is in place. You have to make sure that the local share is in place, and then we're doing things like flight plans for Orange and making sure that it all works from a conservation authority perspective and that the room sizes are exact and all the gas lines work the way they should. So there's a whole lot of work to do, but we're working as quickly as we can. The province has been phenomenal, and our teams from Oak Valley Health are great. So certainly there's lots more work to do. I'm on the fundraising campaign, and there's lots of events planned in the near and long-term future on this.
So from your perspective, what's your share of the money then that the municipality is going to have to come up with? So
it's not a local municipal share. We were in the regional budget for 10 million is what the region supported us with in the 2024 budget. And then there's a huge fundraising effort that is it's been going on for a while, and it's going to go public in the next 4 months or so when we get into more the grassroots part of the campaign.
What is so exciting about this particular hospital project? What is it going to look like when it's done? What can people expect?
All right, so at the moment, our hospital is about 25,000 square feet. It is a stick frame construction. It was built when my father was in elementary school here at Uxbridge. So and he's not a super young guy. So this is a building that needs to be replaced. I think I said no sprinkler system. We've got window air conditioners is what cools this hospital. So lots of work to do. It's going to come down completely, and it's going to be rebuilt with 124,000 square foot hospital that is state of the art. So that's sort of what we're working on with a helipad that's going to be most likely on the roof. And it will be connected to our current ambulatory building where we'll have things like diagnostic imaging and lab will all be in that facility. And we will have a long-term care center connected to it, which will be about 192 beds. So lots more space. It will serve our community for the next 100 years. And healthcare is the number one priority.
So what does that transition look like then? How is that going to work if you say like the current hospital is all coming down while the new one's being built?
Well, this is actually what's great about this project. The site is large enough that these two facilities can run in parallel. So we can completely build the hospital and then move department by department over. So we don't have to tear down the first one in order to build the second.
That is awesome. Awesome.
Again, we were very fortunate, and the team from Oak Valley Health, it's Elena Pachenko, who we work with all the time. And Ellen is in charge of this one, and she's doing a fabulous job.
Okay. Let's talk about another exciting project. I know you wanted to update everybody on the animal shelter.
This is one that's gone on for a long time. So when I was first elected as mayor, it was stalled. We entered into a contract, and the contractor sort of raised the price by $900,000 right outside the gate, which meant that we couldn't move forward. We got a huge, significant donation from a resident that was part of her will, and that has allowed us to move on. So because of that generous gift, we, with the Township of Scugog, are working to get this thing built as quickly as we can. We've got about $3 million for the project, so we have to be really careful with scope creep, that this doesn't get more complicated, but we're trying to get the ground broken as quickly as we can so that we have a new, good, safe place for our animals. Right now, we share a facility that's undersized, completely at capacity, and it's sort of more like an old 70s bungalow than an animal shelter. So we need to work on something that's going to serve our community and the animals even better.
Where is this new animal shelter to be built?
It's going to be built on Lake Ridge Road, between Med and Goodwood Road. So it's a facility that's in the Township of Uxbridge that we've owned for a long time, and that's where it's looking to go.
Yeah, passing by on Lake Ridge Road, I've seen the sign up on the side.
So the sign isn't there. We'll have to get something, and we took it down when the project was stalled, but we'll try and get that thing back up, or a new sign up as we get closer to construction.
And timeline, what are we looking at construction beginning and possibly being completed?
So we're hiring a project manager right now that will work on design, work on, again, early works, well, septic, things like that. I've told the team that I want to see this thing built in 2024. I think I'm too optimistic. Hopefully we can get this early 2025. And that's the beginning of construction, not the end, just to be clear.
Right. Okay. Let's talk about some other exciting local projects. Uxbridge is a beehive of activity.
Yeah. So one that we're going to talk about right now is the Kindred Works project. This is, 2 years ago, almost to the day, there was a tornado that wiped out our beautiful Trinity United Church on First Avenue. That the only silver lining with that is it has opened up an opportunity for the church to kind of transition into both a sanctuary the way they had before, but at a smaller scale, but also build a housing project that will serve some people that have some limited financial means. The region of Durham stepped up in a huge way. They provided $2.4 million towards that project, and that is to get affordable housing in Uxbridge. So it's 105 units, 2 twin 6-story buildings with underground parking that is right downtown, just steps from Brock Street. And really excited to see that happen. Really exciting to have some additional affordable options in town. And the team from Kindred Works have done a great job on design. So it will fit in as well as a 6-story building can fit into downtown Uxbridge. So they took a lot of the elements of the old church and sort of incorporated them into the new design. So I'm excited about this one. We zoned downtown Uxbridge C3 to allow for these types of builds to happen without a rezoning. So it's a sort of a sure thing for the development community.
So is this near, I'm just trying to picture it, near Showbrook and,
No, it's not. It's actually right in the downtown. So
Okay.
it's First Avenue, and where this church was is on the east side of our downtown. And the entrance for this will be off Main Street. So where we have Jurgen's Deli and sort of that area, those buildings have to come down for this to be built. But it's going to be right on Main Street, probably 40 meters off Brock.
how many housing units are we talking here?
It's 105 rental units.
So rental units, is this something more that you would like to see in Uxbridge? Is there enough rental properties in Uxbridge?
There is not enough rental properties in Uxbridge, although this is a huge step in the right direction. Again, downtown, so you can walk everywhere. We will have a significant amount of jobs coming in. Again, with the hospital, long-term care, provincial park, we're going to need lots more jobs for people that may not be able to afford to buy. Uxbridge is fairly expensive, and this will begin to fill some of those gaps.
Right. Another piece in the puzzle of your downtown revitalization project, which is always on the go and so vibrant.
Yeah. So can we talk about that now?
Yeah, of course we can.
Amazing. Okay. So this is right across the road from land that the township owns as well. We had a huge culvert project that happened and that you and I have been talking about for years. So that's done. We're now out of the floodplain in this area, which allows for some building to take place. So township owns some lands that we are looking to develop. We're getting very close to those days now. And we want some density in the downtown core. We want lots of space for commercial, want some new areas for restaurants, a pedestrian walkway, things like that. So I encourage anyone listening to jump on their phone and Google My Uxbridge Downtown. And that has all the plans. It's a great video that will kind of show you what we want to look like when we grow up.
It looks pretty good as it stands now. So
yeah, so just in some of the areas that's underdeveloped, we want to get some additional density, get more people living and working downtown. And this Kindred Works project is very much like what we want to see in other areas in downtown Uxbridge.
Okay, I'm going to stop you there. We are in conversation this week with Uxbridge Mayor Dave Barton. Don't go away, more to come after this.
You don't win it to keep it, you win it to be a part of its history. Always hard to see the difference between winning and losing.
The quest for the hardest trophy to win in sports.
Hey, what's up, everybody? It's your boy, Karim Grant. I'm the host of the Players Corner. Season 2 is coming right at you. Make sure you stay tuned. We have a lot of exciting guests right here on Rogers Durham TV. Make sure you're there.
Hi, my name's Scott Dennis, host of the Sports Report here on Rogers TV Durham. Do you love sports? So do I, and we're talking about it anywhere from the Oshawa Generals to college, university to amateur sport. Make sure you tune in here, only on Rogers TV Durham.
This is Rogers TV.
And welcome back to Talk Politics. Our guest this week is Uxbridge Mayor Dave Barton. Lots going on, as we mentioned, in Uxbridge. We were talking about the revitalization of downtown on the same wavelength here. Let's talk about some major infrastructure projects that you have on the go?
So I am an infrastructure guy. So I want to make sure that when I leave this office, we leave our roads, bridges, culverts in much better shape. And so we've been working away at that. Let's first talk about our local projects. Fortunately, unfortunately, we've got two bridges that have failed that are controlled by East Gwillimbury. They're on East Gwillimbury Uxbridge town line, controlled by them, and bridges are extremely expensive. So we had put aside a couple $1 million over the last number of years to make sure that we had money to pay for those bridges. We are now expecting the prices to be even higher, and we have to cover our half. But this year, the vast majority of our local public works budget is going to be spent on those two bridges, and we just hope that we can get them built so that they can be driven on by next year. We're also doing a gravel conversion. So over the last probably 20 years, we've been trying to convert all of our non-dead end roads from gravel to hard surface, and we're moving ahead with that this year. So we're working on another about 8 kilometers, and it takes us 3 years to convert 8 kilometers of road. So we're in year 2 of that project, and one of those roads is O'Barrett, and then there's a couple others that are up near Zephyr. So that's what we're working on this year, locally. And then regionally, I'm also the chair of public works with the region. So we've got some great Uxbridge projects happening right now. Deborah, have you driven up Durham 1 between Uxbridge and Leaksdale recently?
Not recently.
Okay, so it's bumpy. It's something, we had a public meeting for this in 2011, way before I was involved.
Oh, no.
And finally, this summer it should be done. We had some land acquisition issues and had to move a bunch of utilities. So there's a lot of early works that had to happen. But the contract is out. Those bids, I believe, are either, they'll certainly be in by the time this goes to air. And we are hoping to have that construction started this summer, and it'll take about almost a year to get complete, to get that Durham 1 section done. And it is a major project that will look way differently. So what I'm going to be hearing about is on social media and things like that, instead of how bad and how bumpy the road is, I'll switch to complaints about how disruptive the construction is for about a year, and then we'll be talking about smooth roads again, and we can talk about speed control.
Well, you know what? If the road is that bumpy, people don't want to be on it anyway. So,
yeah,
no.
But again, it's something that really desperately has to be done. We've heard from our farmers for a long, long time. You know, it's bumpy in a nice flush car. When you get into a 10-ton truck that's hauling hay or grain, it's way, way worse. And this is something that should have been done a long time ago. And I'm glad it's being done under my watch here. And then we have bridges happening as well. That's going to kind of disrupt some traffic flow. So Sanford Road is closed on one section between the second and third concession. And then we also have a road, the bridge out on Reach Street, just west of Highway 12. So it will be a tough, complicated year to drive in Scugog and Uxbridge and North Durham this year. We also have a bridge out that is going to start being worked on fairly soon up in Beaverton. So lots of disruptions in the north. And the good news is construction work is being done. The bad news is it'll take you a little while to move around.
Yeah, just moving back just for a minute to that bridge that you share with East Gwillimbury. Very frustrating to have had the money to get started on the project earlier, but what's out of control is when that project starts, because it's starting later than you would have liked. Now you're on the hook for more money.
Yeah, and that's, when you're dealing with construction inflation the way we have to deal with it.
Yeah.
Certainly with our local projects, we try to make them happen as quickly as we can, because when you don't, they just get more expensive. They take more taxpayer resources, and that's the last place you want to be. I think we've been running probably double-digit construction inflation over the last few years, and that means the money we had in reserves is not going as far, and it means that budgets are harder and harder to manage, both locally in Uxbridge and also at the region.
Let's get an update on the provincial park.
This is something that's very, very close to my heart. I'll just give you a little bit of background. This this originally started because an amazing gentleman, Uxbridge resident by the name of John McCutcheon, who's in his 90s, said, I have this 80-acre property that I've owned with my family for decades, and I love trails. He's been an incredible trail volunteer for a long time, but I know there's over 1,300 acres of provincially owned lands in the township of Uxbridge that should be open to the public. I'll put my 80 acres and home on the line, and I will donate it to the cause if you can secure a significant portion of those provincial lands. So we talked to our friends at the province. I met with the Premier, with Minister Bethenfalvy. Then we got talking to Minister Piccini, who was the Minister of Environment at the time, moved on to Minister Khanjin. But the province had a different idea. Instead of donating the lands to Uxbridge to have us build a park, they said, let's build the very first ever provincial urban park in Durham Region. So this was the first provincial park announced in 40 years. And again, moving at a lightning pace. So the Rouge took about 15 years to sort of happen. We're trying to do this in 2 or 3. And again, it's moving really quickly. And we hope to have some additional news this summer. Just some public consultation with this. First, they have to decide if the public think that it should be an urban provincial park. We know that the vast majority of people have said they want it to be that. And then they're going to decide what's going to be in it. So it's going to be sort of a 2-year consultation project, but we expect to hear very good news very soon.
Okay. And changes to your paid parking system for those that like to travel up to Uxbridge.
Yes. So we are the trail capital of Canada. We have thousands of acres of lands that people mountain bike on, hike on, walk their dogs, and where deer and bear and coyotes, etc., have a pretty good home. So it's good that we share these lands with the animals as well. But all budgets are tough. The Durham Forest lands, the TRCA lands, the Uxbridge lands. None of us had budgets for things like washrooms and new parking lots and garbage pickup. All that wasn't funded. And we have about 100,000 people that come to Uxbridge every year. So all of the property owners got together and said, we need to work together because the people don't care if they're on Uxbridge lands or Durham Region lands or TRCA lands. They just want it to look the same and to kind of work together. So we have been working with them on a paid parking system. All the money goes to make the trail experience better, whether it's porta potties, then moving into washrooms or other things. We pulled in about $240,000 so far. We spent about $115,000. So we have more money to spend this year. And but we heard over and over and over again, people didn't mind paying for parking, or most people didn't mind paying for the parking, but the app was really tough to manage. We have switched tech providers and we're moved to another one that is used by other municipalities and universities. So we expect this to be way better, and for some of these complaints and some of the tech issues to be relieved, so that we can concentrate on the best use of the money that's being raised right now.
Can you still pay by cash, or
No.
is it all app?
It's all app, so you can pay at home. And then I'll just go back a little bit. If you're a trail volunteer and you donate a significant amount of time to the Durham Mountain Bike Association or the Uxbridge Horsemen's Association or Green Durham, you can get a free pass. So there's lots of ways not to pay, but again, it's raising a significant amount of money, and it's a way that we can make sure that the people who are using the trails are also the ones that are funding the upkeep.
Okay, we only have about 3 or 4 minutes left. I want to talk about some of the real fun things that are happening up in Uxbridge this year. The Huck Finn days are back. I love this idea.
Oh, us too. So this was the brainchild of Pat Higgins, who owned our local Canadian Tire store. He just retired. The new owner, Mike, has stepped up and is doing this again. And we stock Elgin Pond and put a whole bunch of brook trout in it, and then people fish and they can win prizes. So go to our website, uxbridge.ca, for more details, but it is so nice. Every time I drive by or walk or hike by the pond, there's a whole bunch of fishermen out there, and it's just fabulous. So it's great.
And of course, you have a big music festival. The Springtide Music Festival is coming to Uxbridge as well.
This is one that your viewers should come up to. It is phenomenal. So it's June 6th to 8th. And when you come to downtown Uxbridge, you can either go to the big shows you have that are ticketed, but even if you walk up and down Brock Street, most of our local businesses have guests in, whether it's on their patios or in the local flower shop. You can hear amazing local music wandering up and down the streets, and the talent in Uxbridge is phenomenal. It's actually breeding we've got some people that are kind of on the world stage. So we have Robin Ottolini, who I heard just pre-pandemic at my wife's 50th birthday party in my living room. Then the next time I saw her was at Boots and Hearts with 44,000 people. So that's one of our local artists who've worked in Springtime before. But get out, enjoy local music, and see everything that Uxbridge has to offer. It's alive with people in the summers.
Okay, and also I have to mention, pickleball has just exploded. And you're looking into building a pickleball court, which I know a lot of people will be happy about.
Yeah, so the tender for engineering has just been finalized, or it will be finalized in the next week or so. And we are hoping to get those courts built as quickly as possible. We want them 2 tennis courts, I think 4 pickleball courts at the fields of Uxbridge, and hoping to have those done either in 2024 or early 2025. And again, pickleball is great. I've played a few times. I love it. We also have pickleball in the arena, in our arena pads in evenings during the summer. So if you want to come in, play some pickleball, we added some nets and some markers in the arena building. I think it costs $4 to come and play, and have a great time with friends. And everyone plays it, whether you're young or old. It's a great game.
Okay, we only have about a minute left, so I'm going to leave the last minute to you. Perhaps, what's number one on your to-do list in the coming year? What are you looking forward to most?
So it's continuing on with my priorities. So making sure that the hospital happens, the park happens, and downtown revitalization is happening. So we are laser focused on that. And along the way, we're doing great things like pickleball. But remember, Uxbridge is open for business, whether you want a place to move your business or you want to come and have a great walk on a Saturday. Come to Uxbridge and get to enjoy nature along with us.
Canada's trail capital. It is spectacular up there, I must agree. Mayor Dave Barton, thank you so much for spending time with us today.
Thank you. All the best.
Until next time, I'm Debra Hutchison. Bye for now.
Connect with us by visiting our website or email us at comments@rogerstv.com.
I'm not special. Cancer happens to people all the time. I take 1 mile at a time, 26 miles a day. I want to set an example that'll never be forgotten. Sometimes, it feels endless. But the pain I feel is nothing. I've seen little kids in so much pain. Somewhere, the hurting must stop.
Terry Fox ran more than halfway across Canada to raise money for cancer research. Every year, millions of people around the world continue the marathon of hope in his name.
This is a perfectly healthy child. What's unhealthy are birth alerts, a racist practice that